Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Mythlook with your host Nitin Nair. I really hope you're liking the content that we've been putting out lately in terms of our podcast and our videos, and we intend to do a lot more and dive a lot more deeper into various mythologies in the days to come. And in our quest to drive parallels between various mythologies, regardless of location or timelines, there's another one special coming up which we had mentioned earlier. We are going to be doing a two-parter, or I wouldn't call it a two-parter as such, but it would be the same goddess in two different mythologies depicted slightly differently from each other. And this is not from Greek and Roman mythology like you would automatically assume. Our first goddess is from Sumerian mythology or from modern day Iraq. The goddess of love, sex, fertility, and war, Inanna. Among the most significant goddesses of Mesopotamia was Inanna, who was also known as Ishtar in the corresponding mythology. According to stories, she was most likely born around the 3rd millennium BCE and resided in Uruk, which was her primary city. There, she was depicted as a lady of the date clusters. It was clear that Inanna was more of a goddess of war, love, and sex than a great mother. She was also regarded as a goddess of the me, which is kingship, godship, sexual practices, marriage, and political power, which means that she was the equivalent of the great male deities in the Sumerian pantheon. She was regarded as a goddess by the Assyrians, Babylonians, and Akkadians, and was later identified as Ishtar. She was also associated with various other notable individuals such as the Phoenician Asartes, the Greek Aphrodite, and the Hittite Sauska. Inanna was seen as a star of the evening and the morning, and she was also associated with the Roman god Venus. Some believe that Inanna was a subject of a relief known as the Burney relief, which dates back to the region of Hammurabi of Babylon. However, Ereshkigal, her sister, is believed to be the goddess depicted in the statue. Inanna is often depicted riding a lion, which is a sign of her dominance over the king of beasts. In her role as a goddess of war, she is depicted wearing armor that is similar to that of a male warrior. She is also linked to Athena and Nike, who are Greek goddesses. The most common symbol of Inanna was the 8-pointed star. There were also 6-pointed stars, but their symbolic significance is not clear. Inanna's ideogram was made from a twisted knot of reeds, which represented the doorway post of the storehouse, which in turn meant abundance and plenty. The twin brother of Inanna was Utu, who was also known as Shamash in Babylonian mythology. In Sumerian literature, Utu and Inanna are depicted as very close, and some authors have claimed that their relationship is incestuous. Inanna refers to Ereshkigal as her older sister. However, the two goddesses rarely appeared together in god lists and were not included in the same category. Dumuzid, who was regarded as Inanna's husband, was also depicted as a god of shepherds. However, some believe that Inanna's loyalty to him is suspect. In her descent into the underworld, Inanna grants the Gala demons the power to abduct Dumuzid. Inanna was not typically depicted as having any offspring. However, in a story from the 3rd dynasty of Ur, a warrior known as Shara was referred to as her son. Scholars believe that Inanna and Ishtar were initially unrelated. However, during the reign of Sargon, they were mistakenly combined and regarded as one goddess. Inanna's name is said to have come from the Sumerian word Nin-an-ak, which means Lady of Heaven. Some Assyriologists believe that Inanna was originally a Proto-Euphratean goddess. She was eventually accepted as a goddess by the Sumerians. The goddess Inanna was regarded as a goddess of love and warfare by the Sumerians. Unlike other gods who had fixed roles and limited domains, Inanna was seen as a moving target who constantly sought to gain more power than she was given. She was also depicted as a young and impetuous woman. Although she was regarded as a god of love, she was never seen as a mother or wife. Inanna's main temple was at Uruk, but throughout Mesopotamia, her shrines and temples were filled with sacred prostitutes who were either male or female. These individuals were believed to have been hired to ensure that the communities would continue to grow. Her clergy were also reportedly both male and female. In ancient Sumer, Inanna was one of the oldest deities. She is listed as one of the 7 divine powers, along with Enki, Enlil, Utu, Nana, and Ninhursag. These 7 were the basis for various characteristics of the gods that followed, and Inanna inspired similar deities in other cultures. Inanna was a different kind of goddess from the traditional one. She was an impulsive and conceited young woman who was kind and impulsive at the same time. The Sumerians were able to create a goddess who was regarded as feminine, which demonstrates their cultural understanding of the concept of femininity. In the Sumerian pantheon, there are several other notable female deities such as Ninkasi, Ninsaba, Gula, Ninhursag, and Nanshe. During the reign of Hammurabi of Babylon, many goddesses were replaced by gods. Inanna was adopted by the Neo-Assyrian and Assyrian empires as Ishtar, which is a goddess of sex and war, but unfortunately the other goddesses did not fare as well. In modern times, the influence of Inanna has been restricted to the understanding of the Babylonian, Sumerian, Hittite, Assyrian and Akkadian civilizations, which serves as a benchmark for when things started to change in the area. Experts in these fields consider Inanna to be an important character around whom the changes in the region took place, along with the change in civilizations, mindsets, and belief systems. In our next episode, we will be looking at its counterpart from a different mythology. Stay tuned, drop us a like, a subscribe, or follow us, and tell your friends to tune into our channel regardless of which platform they prefer, and help us along in our journey to bring together all the mythologies from around the world in one single place. This is your host, Nitin Nair, signing out by reminding you once again that Mythlok is the home of mythology.